Anthem has been regarded by many people as one of the biggest highlights of E3 2017. Developed by BioWare, the creators of such beloved franchises like Mass Effect and Dragon Age, running on the Frostbite engine and written by Drew Karpyshyn, who is behind the story of Mass Effect 1, 2 and Star Wars The Old Republic, not to mention of course the 5-minute gameplay trailer that we've probably all seen by now, pretty much speaks for itself. A vast open world to explore, intense combat, A+ graphics, and I can't stress this enough, good-looking facial animations.
Unbelievable.
You're right.
Despite the potential this game most definitely has, we have to remember that we have been here before. Every time E3 comes around, there will always be those 1 or 2 games that players will look at and think, there's no possible way that game is going to look that way at launch. Well, as it so often happens, sometimes that ends up being the end result for the game. If you know your gaming history, you will probably remember the story of Watch Dogs, No Man's Sky and Destiny, games that simply did not quite reach the expectation of experience that we were hoping for when we were advertised it, whether it was graphical downgrades, cut content, or just flat out broken promises. Anthem could well be the next in line, and despite that it's hard to get over how beautiful the game looks, we do need to understand that this type of trend is common and it can sometimes happen to the worst and the ones that carry the most potential. So let me go over just a few key points that won't probably lead to Anthem failing, but at least it will damage its reputation.
I'll follow.
Now, if you haven't heard recently, BioWare have stopped providing DLC support for Mass Effect Andromeda just 5 months after its initial release. For a franchise that is this big, and for the reputation that it holds with its players since its inception, this is the definition of total catastrophe for BioWare. So the news hasn't been good for the company these past few months, and Anthem could well be the comeback for BioWare, but like almost every single game on the market that I can think of, does hold and hide some dark secrets behind their promotion that never get to see the light until players have actually bought the game and played it. So what potential secrets could Anthem be hiding? Anthem has been described by the developers as an online-only single-player and co-op game. As we saw in the trailer, there will be co-op throughout the entire PvE section, which leads me to the question, will there be PvP? Now, I have no problem at all with no PvP mode, but one thing I must stress is that developers will have to find ways to keep players invested if they're only going to have PvE. The reason I think why so many people are keen on a mode like PvP is because it can distract us players for a good length of time. You have a different experience with the game nearly every game you play. You are progressing your skill more and more the longer you stick with it. I could say for one that just like in the last 2 Mass Effect games, Anthem could have like a multiplayer horde-like mode being present in the final product, but the concern I have for PvE only is that because it's not player-controlled enemies that you're fighting, the skill, strategy and difficulty to defeat them are going to be memorized and then well known by the players over time, so the experience could somewhat become scripted. And that kind of gameplay could make players lose interest a little bit quicker. And after what happened with Andromeda, if Anthem is anything but a disappointment at release, if the players lose interest in the product sooner than expected, so will BioWare. As I would expect, this game could come along with a few gaming trends that we've seen by development companies to cash in on their fans. Mass Effect Andromeda probably has one of the most insulting microtransaction systems I've ever known any multiplayer game to implement. And in Anthem, you'll have a similar situation. You'll be offered a wide variety of customization options for your characters, your weapons, abilities and appearance. It would not surprise me one bit if these things were only accessible through a microtransaction system. You might be able to earn them through playing the game, which is what I hope for, but after having seen Andromeda's system and that Anthem is setting itself up to be a similar layout, microtransactions for the most part, it's safe to say, will at least be in the game. Not sure on what kind of impact they'll have, but they'll definitely be there. And as we saw in the trailer, we see the player, after defeating a swarm of enemies, picks up what looks like a loot key, and just like in Destiny, perhaps the rewards you get in the game will not be measured by your score and performance, simply just a random loot drop. And we see when the player acquires the Jer's Wrath, the gun is stated as a legendary Vault rifle. With the word legendary slipped in there, it could potentially mean that there will be different grades of the same weapon, which could lead to players grinding the hell out of missions they've played 5-6 times already just to hopefully get the drops and gear that they want. This of course hasn't been confirmed on how the system will operate, but it does beg the question and leave some concerns. Now, as it stands right now, they are my main two concerns regarding Anthem, and I do hope that us gamers speak out about these issues. When games get revealed, a lot of us just tend to think, wow, I cannot wait to play that game, but we never take into account what will happen after we've actually played the game. These type of discussions need to be brought up more before the game releases, rather than after we've paid for them and played them ourselves just to get the answers. And as time goes on, we will be getting more news that will come down the pipeline, and there will be more to discuss in the community. But as it stands right now, with our only knowledge of this game being a 5-minute gameplay trailer, don't automatically expect that this is going to be a legendary 10 out of 10 game just by watching it, because things do change. With that said though, I am excited to hear more about this game, and I hope for nothing more for this game to actually be as fun as it looks. But what about you guys? Are you looking forward to this game? And if you have any concerns of your own that I didn't mention in this video, be sure to leave them down in the comments. Thank you all for watching this video, leave a rating if you find it necessary, and as always, subscribe for more future content on the channel. Take care of yourselves, have a good one, bye.